Jamie Peck, composer of the music for Pittsburgh from the Air. It's Pittsburgh from the Air 2 out there in moments and available by calling 1-800-274-1307. Congratulations. Pittsburgh from the Air 1 was a great hit, and everybody loved the music, so you're back, and you've won an Emmy for the first one.
Yeah, it's stunning. Not in my wildest dreams did I ever think that would happen or even be in the conversation with an Emmy, but it's been a wonderful ride. It's awesome. Thanks.
Did you write the music riding in a helicopter?
No, I like riding in a helicopter, but I didn't get a chance to go up in the helicopter. I wanted to, but...
the images that you see from the camera in the helicopter in Pittsburgh from the Air 2, anything strike you in particular?
Oh, goodness, there's
so
many.
You wrote music to accompany
ones.
all these wonderful images.
I mean, all the images are compelling. It would be hard for me to say there's just one that would be my favorite because it's just so beautiful. I mean, amazing. And wait till you see two. I think it's spring and fall, which gives us all that beautiful foliage that you'll see. It's amazing.
How did you go about writing the music?
I'll generally put it up on screen and just watch it and see what happens and get a feel for it, and then I'll come up with a tempo and see how that reacts to the changes in the way it works, the different cuts, and then I just, for lack of a better word, I'll just combust and I'll say, okay, what am I feeling? And I'll start throwing something down. It might be a percussion piece, or it might be a little motif or a piano thing. It just really depends. Whatever strikes my fancy at the time.
You use the latest music technology. Some synthesized music is very important in the soundtrack here, but then you also have some living, breathing musicians.
Oh, definitely have living, breathing musicians. I've been composing for years, and I'm always in the box, meaning using a computer a lot of the time. And I have an extensive virtual instrument library, is what they're called these days. And they're actual live people playing these samples. It's not like synthesis anymore. It's the real deal. But I always long for having humanity, collaboration. That's real important to me. And every time I get somebody in the studio that I can collaborate with, magic always happens. And I love that.
Who are the musicians you use? There's wonderful cello playing on the soundtrack.
Well, I've got my friend Barry Klein. He's a friend of mine, and he's the area pastor down in Wheeling. And He's not a trained, well, he's a trained cellist, but that's not what he does. But he just hears what I hear, and he can do whatever. If I give him an idea, he always seems to nail whatever I'm feeling. So it's been very good. And then of course I brought in an amazing guitarist named Roger Horde, and he's just an awesome player. He plays acoustic, the dadgad style, the detuned Irish Celtic kind of sound, and he was real instrumental in it. And then, of course, my brother Skip has a jazz trio. And so I had jazz piano, and his son Alex played drums, and that was a real treat on the first one.
And you are a fine pianist. Do we hear you playing the piano here?
Oh, yeah. Most of the piano on the show is me, and among all the other instruments as well, too. Just depends on what it is. It's kind of quirky for me, speaking to you, being in the classical on the classical station, because I do everything from a different point of view, as a composer. But it's been fun in that way.
Well, I wanted to ask you a little about your career, because people in this area, Western Pennsylvanians, know you as the keyboard guy for B.E. Taylor.
That's right. That's right.
And we've seen you on Channel 13 playing the keyboards
right.
at B.E., have we not?
Yeah, with my beret on. That way I don't blind anybody if they get the back of my head.
So you two have really had a tremendous collaboration. You have a lot of fun. The holiday shows, classic for a lot of people here in Pittsburgh. And West Virginia.
It's BE. The whole show has been wonderful, and I've been part of it since its inception. But BE and I have been working together about 20 years now. Not quite 20 years, coming up on 20 years. But it never gets old. Even having played those songs all these years, it doesn't get old because it's always fresh, and everyone on stage really cares about each other. And we care about the music, and it's just been a fun thing for us.
You played the saxophone in high school, didn't you?
That's my main instrument, saxophone, and I've been playing since 1969, something like that. My first gig was at a Moose Club, and a bunch of football players came up and got a little rowdy and bent my saxophone.
Wow.
But yeah, it goes way back, and getting the opportunity to record with B and produce and stuff has been really, really good for me too.
Well, I think of you primarily as a pianist because that's where I see you playing the piano on BE. Do you also play the saxophone with BE?
Absolutely. It varies. You know, every year you can't do all the songs that are on all the records, or the show would be 5 hours long. So this past year, a lot of the songs that had saxophone in them, they got cut for that year, but then they'll be coming back, and then other ones will leave the show and things like that. But yeah, I do a lot of sax in the show.
Let's talk about the music in Pittsburgh from the Air a little more specifically. Let's listen to some of it, and then I'll ask you what was going on here.
Sounds good.
Delta 710, 3-mile final, 10 left. Delta 710, Pittsburgh Tower, only 10 left, wind calm, clear to land. It's a beautiful fall day in the bird. Roger, Delta 710, clear to land, 10 left. Yes, it is.
Maybe you're flying into Pittsburgh for the first time. Maybe you grew up here and never left. Or maybe life took you somewhere else and you left this region long ago. Well, folks who've come to Western Pennsylvania, even ones who've traveled far from home, seldom forget the landscape. Gentle mountains, sometimes colored with October leaves, seem to go on forever.
That's the voice of Rick Seaback, of course, and the music of Jamie Peck.
Never in my wildest dreams. Again, you know, I've watched Rick's productions forever, and it's just, I said, I'd love to work with that guy someday, and here we are.
And that was the guitarist that you mentioned a moment ago.
Yes, yes.
And you playing the piano.
Piano and the just the string backdrop and everything else, yeah.
And we were at Pittsburgh Airport.
That was a really interesting scene because we didn't want to give away too much right from the start, so I kind of just built it in really slow and took my time, tried to be patient with it. But when it goes over the trees, which you'll see when you watch it, that's when the orchestra comes in, and it was just, to me, that seemed right. And I've had people say that it feels like a story, and that's what I wanted it to be. You know, with Rick's narration, he's telling it, and he really pulls you in with that, and you feel like you're really reading a book. And when that music, the changeover from the piano to the strings, it makes me well up. And when you see it, it'll hopefully do the same thing to you. You know.
Let's check out another moment from Pittsburgh from the Air 2.
In 2001, a plane flew over these trees in Somerset County, and many lives changed forever. It was United Airlines Flight 93. This is the National Memorial, just after its dedication. Etched on the granite wall, the names of 40 people.